pay attention. We must first enter the global mode. Then enter the interface mode. Interface. For example, now this device is a 00 interface. I'm about to enter the 00 interface. Everyone will find. This becomes config if. It means that I am now in an interface mode. Let's summarize and teach you how to quit. Now in overall interface mode. If you want to return to the configuration mode just now, that is the global mode, we have a command. Exit. Now you can exit. There is another way. For example, I am now entering the 00 interface. If I want to go straight back to privileged mode now, we can type end here. Certainly, there is a difference between the two. Exit is a step-by-step return. That is, from user mode to privileged mode, to global mode, up to interface mode, fall back from interface mode, back step by step. If you want from any view, return to privileged mode. Then you just type end. I also show you. For example, I am now entering the 00 interface. Except for this end. There is also a key called Ctrl-Z. After pressing Ctrl-Z, you'll also be back in privileged mode. You can choose these ways. So if we go back to this mode below, when going to exit, in theory, return to user mode. Let's hit enter and feel. You will find we are now in the initial mode as a whole. This is called really exiting the device. You're back in the user view. So here we can still come back. Here I will give you a simple popularization. We usually do experiments directly from user mode to privileged mode. You enter, enable, and you come in directly. But for many companies, for safety reasons, enter privileged mode in user view. There will be a verification. To enter password. It's like doing some defense here. If you don't know your device's passcode right now, then you have no way to log into the privileged mode. To view the parameters, let's see how it is configured. It needs to be configured in global mode. Let's receive the first command first. We first have an enable. Then enter a question mark to see. Today we talk about two modes. One is called password. The other is called secret. Let's first look at the password. We call it plain text. For example, I give it a password. Enter Cisco. And hit enter. It is equivalent to that I have configured the password now. Exit now. Back to this interface. Now type enable. After entering, it will prompt me to enter the password. Then I will now enter the Cisco we just said. Enter this interface. This is very simple. But it does not require everyone to master its commands. It's not difficult. Just feel it. May be new to such a system. It is actually an iOS system based on the Linux system. The difference between it and the Windows system is that the operating habits are quite different. So everyone sometimes doesn't quite adapt. Slowly get used to it. Okay. Let's check the current configuration. In Cisco, the viewing parameter is called Show. Click on the upper right corner. Select Settings. Click on General. Here is an app. What type of files do you open in the future? What kind of program do you want to open? Are set here. Let's look at the configuration now. The command now running on the device is running config. Running configuration. In fact, it is show run. Generally speaking, it will not be completed later. After typing this, we just press the enter key. Let's take a look. In this, we can clearly see a parameter. This is what we just configured. Enable password Cisco. We just entered this command in global mode. The password for the device is now Cisco. This thing is called plain text. Refers to when you view the configuration on the device. Can directly see the configured password. This password is in clear text. Okay. Let's look at another model next. The other is ciphertext. The ciphertext will not be able to see the password. So we go inside. To make a configuration. First, cancel the previous configuration. In Cisco, cancel the previous configuration is called no. What we just configured is enable password. So now enter no enable password here. To cancel the previous configuration, we are now going to reconfigure. To use ciphertext, still type Cisco. Press enter. Return to the original interface. Then log in again. It again prompts for password. Still enter the password to log in. After logging in, let's look at the configuration now. Show run. Everyone will find. Here we see the configuration just now. Enable secret. But there is a character after. 5. Prompt that I just entered 5 characters. But the specific content I just entered becomes encrypted. Just displayed. This is equivalent to. Although I now enter this device. But when checking the password, can't see its password. Sometimes on projects, you will inevitably ask others to help you debug the equipment. After logging in, others can help you debug. But he can't check the password. Let's talk about the basic configuration. That is, configure an address. We are still advanced to the global mode. Enter the 00 interface. Then assign an IP. For example, I now configure a 1.1.1.1. But there is a difference. If I configure a 24 here, the representative mask is 24 bits. Can I configure it please? If I configure 24-bit mask, I can only choose 3 255 and 10. It does not support direct use of Arabic numerals. Dotted decimal only. Press enter. You may find it a bit strange. Logically speaking, this interface is configured with an address. There should be a pop-up window prompting. For example, it will tell me that the interface is already open. But didn't. For Cisco interfaces, although you configure the IP, by default it still doesn't work. You have to open it manually. The command to open manually is called no shutdown. Wait a minute and it will pop some logs out. It will tell you. Now the 00 interface switches state to up. Changed state to up. The 00 interface has started to work normally. We can check it out. Let's look at the interface on the device. Show IP interface brief. Here we can see the layer 3 interface on the device is now. Look. This is the 00 we just configured. The address we allocated is 1.1.1.1. There is a manual here. Indicates that this is a manual configuration mode. This address is entered manually on the interface. Called manual. Here is an unset. It means that this interface is not configured now. There is a status here. Is the